Hey, this is John from Point North. I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
All right, man. Congratulations with the new single. It's
Thank you.
seriously been on repeat. I love this energy. I love this vibe that you guys have on this new track. Talk to me a little bit about like what really kickstarted the writing process for the song. And was this something that you knew you were already writing, or was this something that it just, you were writing stuff and then all of a sudden this song was born?
Yeah. We like to look at the stuff that works, the stuff that doesn't work, as far as the stuff we put out. So we really liked, and well, I guess like the bottom line is we really like to stick to our roots and everybody doing what they're best at, right? And so I think one of the things that I'm best at, or one of the things that people me is the high energy vocal. And I think that shows with our Hammer cover. It's still just like something we can't get away from, and it's just like this thing that's people's undeniably favorite thing we play or have out. So I was, we kind of like had this like sit down, like we kind of talked about where we wanted to go with the new music and stuff. We were like, yo, like we basically just decided to stop trying so hard, if that makes sense, like trying to like make these profound records, and instead just like play what we love to play and do what we all think that we're all best at. And that's just like me being loud, the energy of the songs being way faster and like more fun, to be honest. And so we kind of just like locked into that pocket. And we go through spouts of writing like like 10 or 15 songs in a week or two or something like that. And then we take like another long break, and then there's like another chunk of 10 or 15 songs. And there's like another long break, and we kind of just do that. And like each one of those chunks, there's like a little bit of growth. And those chunks like are usually separated by like a month or two. So it was like that's really what 2020 kind of was like. And so far through 2021, and we just landed on, Nice Now was just the frickin' 30-second or whatever demo of like where we finally got there. And it was, I mean, we brought the guitars to E standard, and we're just kind of like sticking to our roots. And I've been playing just high energy stuff like that like my whole life, and so it's just comes so naturally, and there's no crazy thought process. Like the song was written really fast, and it's like one of our favorites, so we're kind of leaning into that a little bit, and something worked, so we're like, cool, maybe this is just like what we should lean into. So it's just gonna be an album. With this next album, I guess, if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but the next album will be just hitters like that front to back, which is like I'm stoked for. It'll be like an energetic, fun to listen to start to finish, album. So that's kind of how we landed there. It wasn't like a terribly long process, but we tried a lot of things before we kind of got to where like we wanted to be, and that's where it landed. So we're stoked.
What would you say was like one of the biggest challenges that you guys kind of faced while trying to discover like this new sound, this new era of music?
I think the biggest challenge was trying to write a pop punk record without being just a normal pop punk band, if that makes sense. As weird as that sounds, like obviously I got mad love for like pop punk and the scene and everything, but we just want to still be able to stick out somehow. Whether we did that with Nice Now or not, I don't know. Like I like to think I hope so. But that's a tough one, right? Because if you just write pop punk music, you're a pop punk band, cool, but what makes you different, and what makes you cool and what makes you identifiable, I guess, is like the big thing, right? Because you can hear pop punk bands are a dime a dozen, and it's it's tough to write pop punk music, especially in 2021, and like stick out. But luckily, there's this like whole like kind of revival thing kind of happening, so we also kind of like use that to our advantage a little bit. But yeah, I think that's definitely the biggest challenge of writing this type of music is, yeah, being able to stick out.
Now, for you personally, because you have so much experience being a producer and engineer and working with so many other bands as well as like pop punk artists,
Yeah.
how does that impact you when you get into the studio for Point North and create and also produce the songs that you do?
Yeah, it's a huge benefit for sure. So it's just like any other muscle, right? Like writing or singing or playing any kind of sport. It's like something you have to flex and practice every day, whether that's like producing or songwriting or just getting into good habits of, yeah, making decisions with songwriting. So being the guy in the band that does that for a living, like every single day, is like a huge advantage for us. It's basically like, the dudes will come over and we'll write something, and I just basically turn on that switch in my brain. It's like weird. It's like there's like a Point North writing side of me, and then there's like a producer side of me that like adjusts parts and makes different decisions, and adding the production and stuff is like a whole other thing. But it's cool. I get to like, me and Andy are like best friends. We've been best friends for like a very long time, and it's cool to be able to write with him, and then I get to put like my professional, I guess, perspective on the stuff that he writes, and so we kind of like grow together in that sense. But it definitely helps. I don't mix our stuff. My friend Alex Prieto mixes it, which is really nice because I don't have to worry about it, and he's freaking awesome. But yeah, as far as like just the adding production, getting all the editing and mix prep done and stuff, like that's cool. We like save a lot of money in that sense too. We don't have to like go anywhere. And then we just like get it mastered by the dudes at Real Planet, and they always do great. So it's just, we have this like killer team that's just involved with everything. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what we would do without me being able to track stuff. Probably be broke.
So usually like one of the big advantages of having a producer or an outside member come in and produce the music is,
Yeah.
Being able to get challenged, getting out of your comfort zone. So the fact that you guys are so close and constantly working on material, and then you're also the producer, like how are you able to also be able to tackle like stepping out of your comfort zone instead of just being like just another day with the guys?
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question. Yeah. I 100% always try to do that. It's funny if you like listen to Nice Now or like some of our music, like do you really? Because yeah, some of it is like fairly simple, but I think simplicity is so key in everything. I'm a less is more kind of guy with my productions, but it's something that I totally focus on. Like if Andy comes over and we're writing something, it's like, cool, that's cool. How do you make this better? I think the dudes, have a sense of like respect for what I do, and I think they respect like my, I don't know, opinions, I guess. But it's definitely like, yeah, it's definitely not like, play your part and that's kind of it. It's definitely like it's not a super simple process for sure. It can be hard. And yeah, it's definitely one where we challenge ourselves. Like when Sage tracks his drum parts, it's like that dude is so crazy. I'm sure like I always tell everyone too, as soon as we hop in the studio and he does like a playthrough of whatever song we're tracking drums to, because we do drums very last. It's like I just get this huge smile on my face because it just totally comes to life, and it's like the coolest feeling ever seeing it happen. And he changes like his kick arrangement, and everything is just way more melodic, and just he's really good at doing what the song calls for. But yeah, we'll take our time though. I mean, like he's so good, you could literally just do one take and then call it a day and like go home. But there's what's the next step, right? Is all right, let's dig in a little deeper. Same thing with Andy's parts. It's I try to be the one in the band to make sure everyone is challenged and that we are like putting our best foot forward, and hopefully that shows. So
Now, you mentioned earlier in this interview that you guys have your writing spurts, and have been kind of doing that for some time already. So moving forward, like, can fans expect still some kind of, maybe, I don't want to say like experimental, but do you feel like you're still testing out the sounds for Point North, or do you feel like you nailed it with this new single?
I think like for as far as the single goes, like we nailed it, and like that's like the world, right? So I think we're pretty much there. Um, I don't know. Yeah, we might do some more experimentation. Like as far, but the thing is now, like now that we have the site, right? Like in the world we want to live in, we know what we want to do. We're doing like a lot more writing sessions, like outside with people. Like we've been writing with Colin Britton, and like I don't know if you know Colin, but he's like he just did like the new I Didn't Remember album, and it's like crazy good, and he's an awesome writer. And so we did a song with him the other day, and it's like one of my favorites. It's like freaking sweet. I just like, so now we're kind of like, okay, we kind of have this like solid foundation of like where we want to go direction wise and sonically. So we're just kind of like taking it to people and showing them what we got and getting like outside perspectives on it. So that's kind of where we're at. Because yeah, we are at a point where it's like we know what we're doing, and we can write these all day. Let's maybe throw someone else in the mix and see what else. But I guess that more to answer your question, like yeah, fans can expect like we'll pretty much be in this lane of nice now for like the new album. So yeah, we'll hopefully hone in freaking 13 of those guys or however many.
Now, lastly, since you are experiencing some co-writes with Colin, how do you feel like those sessions has impacted your songwriting, and what do you feel like you've gotten to learn or take away from that?
Sessions with anyone else is always the best learning experience, whether you're like the best writer in the world or not. I think it's so important to collaborate, because first things first, like you're not going to get anywhere in this industry like by yourself, and collaboration is the key to success in any shape or form, at least I believe. Secondly, it's like picking up tricks and like yeah, learning writing techniques and all that kind of stuff. It's like the more you can like collect on your way up or whatever, like as you go, is just going to benefit you in the end. So yeah, writing with Colin is like, it's just cool. It's sometimes it's not even like a certain trick or a skill. Sometimes it's just like a vibe or a workflow. It's like how we do these things, or like how you structurally do it. Like we went to Colin's, and it was the first time that we wrote with drums, very first. So like what had happened was, so we're like a in the box band, I like to call it, like where we like come to my studio and we like write in Pro Tools, I program drums, and we kind of just like make these demos. But Collins was the first time we actually like, he had a drum room at the time. I think he sold his house since, but he had a drum room at the time, and he was like, I have to go to the bank for like an hour or something like that. So we left. And so me and Sage and Andy were in the live room. There's a piano, and I had an acoustic, and Sage was on the drum kit, and we like wrote a part together as a band. And it was the first time we'd actually ever done that, which I think is like blasphemy to most people. So we were like, holy shit. Like, and it was, we had this like moment of like, yeah, we would really benefit from writing like this more, because there are times like where we've tried it in a different type of setting. Like maybe we like had amps and it was loud and the drums, and then like, you don't really write melodic parts. It's just harder to do that within like a super loud setting. But something about this was like, a piano. Andy's a great piano player, and he's really good with like, his progressions are awesome, and he's really good with like theory. And then I just like do my thing on the acoustic, and then yeah, Sage had like brushes. We just wrote this like super awesome, like it sounded like super technical, but like it wasn't. It was very blinky, this like cool intro part. And then we tracked it on a phone, some voice memos, and that ended up being like in the song, the voice memo. So it started off all shitty and lo-fi, and then it builds up to like the full band production, and it's like really cool. I was like, dude, so that was like a huge, like, right, level unlock moment for Point North. Like we were like, this is an awesome way to write. And so now my studio is like pretty much finally done, and we'll be able to do that from here on out. So I think like, even though we kind of hit a stride, we're gonna be hitting it hard, But yeah, I think that's like the best thing to take from other sessions too. And those in particular was like, yeah, how we wrote and the workflow is like a huge thing.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I'm definitely
Yeah.
excited for a sophomore record, and you know, hope to
And
hear more collaborations with Colin, but you know, a lot of other like songwriters as well, because I feel like you guys already have that magic going, but like kind of how you mentioned, like that collaboration with just anyone really helps a lot. So
sometimes they
looking,
don't even have to do anything. Sometimes they can just be in the room,
yeah,
and you write different because you know they're there. Like there was a band that I was working for at another producer's house, and they had Pete Wentz in the room writing with them, and he didn't do anything. He didn't write anything, but it was the best song they ever wrote because they were in a room with Pete Wentz. You
the
know,
pressure.
yeah, that you show up and you're focused, and it changes your whole attitude. So sometimes it's just important to have people in the room. You know.
That's awesome, dude. Well, congratulations with the new single "Nice Now," and
Thank
like
you,
I said,
man.
I'm looking forward to more music from you guys.
Dude, we're stoked to get it out there, man. It's about time. We're stoked for the close. We're stoked to
Yeah.
start touring again. So yeah, it's looking like a bright future for sure.